Hello. You talk about rhythm very often in different connotations, like the natural rhythm of your well-being, the natural rhythm of your body. You talk about the rhythm of the heart and of the breathing. And
what we really mean by that is the vibrational relationship between the physical parts of all of those things and the non-physical counterparts of all of those things. That's the rhythm that we're speaking of. In other words, in the absence of resistance, the rhythm of source is felt by you.
Yeah. So there's another rhythm, the rhythm of source. I was intrigued.
Well, there are endless rhythms because vibration is in motion. Vibration is moving. And when things move vibrationally, in other words, if the vibration of your physical being is moving at a slower pace than the vibration of your source energy being, there's no rhythm. There's a sort of chaos that's indicated to you in the emotion of frustration or uneasiness or angst. Esther can hear when the refrigerator is out of rhythm, and right after that the compressor goes out. She can hear when the engine is out of rhythm, and right after that one of the spark plugs stops working correctly, or one of the fuel injectors. In other words, you can feel rhythm in things.
Yes. You even talked about the rhythm of the DNA, and that really caught my attention. So
let us define rhythm for you then. Here is our definition of rhythm: vibrational harmony. That's what we mean by rhythm. Vibrational harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Or vibrational alignment.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that we were using so much rhythm in this is because it's musical, and because the word rhythm applies with music. And we're wanting you to let your body relax into the rhythm of the music. You have to understand that this music was inspired from inside the vortex. The beats of it were dictated from inside the vortex. In other words, we took the vibration as we know it to be, measured it against the frequency of the majority of humans, found what we consider to be the perfect vibrational breathing count to assure the greatest rhythmic vibrational harmony for most with their source energy, and then set it out there in a way that if you play with it, you'll find your rhythm.
So is there a personal rhythm so that everybody has a different rhythm? So do we groove with each other when the rhythm is matching?
Well, we would say that there is certainly a rhythm in the vortex, but within the vortex there are even different frequencies. There's the frequency of ease and there's the frequency of ecstasy. But even though the outward appearance of someone in ease and the outward appearance of someone in ecstasy, the rhythmic characteristics of that vibration is so similar it would be difficult for you to know. And so, yes, when you're in the vortex, law of attraction considers rhythmic vibration in its defining what is a cooperative component and what isn't. So the rhythm of your being, you could say, is noted by law of attraction and matched by others who are rhythmically similar or same.
So it's not about a waltz and cha-cha-cha or something like this, because I got a whole world inside me, and I thought, well, all these trillions of cells that we have in our body.
You have to understand, you may be doing the exact opposite thing of what we were going for with all of this, because we're wanting you to think less and feel more, and now you're just thinking like crazy about one word. In other words, just knock it off. Feel the rhythm, feel it. You see, you've been feeling emotions all of your life, but almost no one is very interested in their emotions.
That's true.
And so when we start talking about emotions, it took some fancy footwork for us to even get you to begin to pay attention to your emotions, you see. Mm-hmm. So don't make work of this. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good.
We were having fun on the Panama Canal cruise because once the enormous ship had passed through the locks of the canal, and the participants in the seminar had, for the most part, witnessed it. It was quite a thing to see. So the ship is moving from a lower body of water to a higher body of water, sort of like getting into the vortex. And these locks that this ship passed through, it was about an 84-foot raise. Now, if the ship had tried to just catapult itself up there, while it is doable, we suppose there could be jetpacks or something that could accomplish the jump, but not a very pleasant experience. So instead, it was an incremental thing. The ship just floated into this lock, and then the water was raised until the water level of this lock was the same as that at the next lock, and then the gates were just softly opened. There was hardly a wave or a ripple, and the ship just floated into the next level, and then into the next lock, and then that lock was lower than the next, so more water was added, and the ship floated upward, and then when it was equal, the gate opened, and the ship just floated into the next lock. And we were saying to our participants on the cruise that that's the way we would like you to see your vortex. In other words, when you try to jump in, it doesn't work very well. You want to be in harmonic, you want to be in rhythm, you want to be in balance, you want to be in flow. You can use any word that you want, but you get the gist of this, and if you will just take it incrementally, then your boat doesn't tip over. If you just take it incrementally, and that really is what this vibrational alignment is. You just reach and align and raise. The vortex, we began calling it the Panama Vortex, or the Vortex Canal. In other words, because we want you to realize that this valve or this opening or this passageway where the vibration of that which is you and the vibration of that which is really you can come into full blending, you see. And the less trauma, the better. So once you pass into the canal that we are even calling the vortex, there is still more to do and more to do and more to do and more to do. There is no ending to the raising and vibration, just as there is no ending of creation. It's a constant motion upward, because life just keeps causing you to parlay it into a higher vibration, and then you have the thrill of coming into alignment with that higher vibration. It's a very good analogy, and it puts it into a perspective that we want you to consider. Do you like being deliberate creator? Yes. Are you on the verge, or have you moved into the understanding that this is a vibrational universe in which you live? Yes. Do you accept that through the directing of your thoughts that you focus the energy, that's how you create? Yes. Does it please you to know that knowing what you don't want helps the process? Yes. So does it make you want to be a little more patient with yourself in the interim before things manifest? Are you approaching the willingness to want to go to the vortex for the feeling of it rather than for the manifestation of it? Because once you get there, once you say, my vortex is my objective because there I am whole and therefore feeling good, and then I will focus specifically. Now you are really a powerful, deliberate creator. And here's why. People often think that it is the setting of the goals that is the creative work. Well, the creative work happens when you're in the middle of a relationship that's no fun. That's when you put more fun. The creative work is when you're sifting through what you don't want, knowing what you do want. In other words, the creative work is the sifting, sorting process. That's the creative work. You've done it, 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 you've done it. The creative work is there. Then people think, oh, I have to get really specific about this thing that I want. But when they're really specific, when they don't have it, what do? They hold themselves away from it. You follow that, don't you? We've been talking about that all morning. So when they're not in the vortex and they're really specific about what they want, I want this person to be this tall and have this much money and have this color of eyes and to call me this and to do these things and to have this agenda and to have this heart. When you're saying all of those things and you're not in the vortex, but you're being specific because you think you're supposed to be specific, because that surely must be what deliberate creating is, you just hold yourself out there, having more experiences you don't want, more experiences that you don't want. Too specific. But then you get general. You quiet your mind. You bask more. You have a massage. You put your feet in the water. You pet your cat. You listen to the meditation CD. You listen to music. You do more of those things that ratchets the specifics down. So you're more general. And then you flow right into the first lock of the vortex canal. And now, when you think about what you want, you do it because it feels good to think about what you want, not because you're trying to be specific in order to make things happen. Can you hear the difference? Now you're talking about it because it feels good. Now you're talking about it because you can't stand not to talk about it. Now you're talking about it because it's who you are and it's what's showing itself to you. Now you are going with the flow of it. Are you following what we're getting at? This is such an important distinction. You want to get into the vortex and then be specific. So the rule of thumb has always been, be as specific as you can be and still feel good. And when you're not in the vortex, you can't be specific at all and feel good. But once you get into the vortex, that's when you want to start talking about it. Jerry and Esther will get into a moment in time where they're feeling so good, where something that has happened is feeling so good, and they will just milk it. Anybody listening in would think they had lost their minds, because it feels so good to just keep reiterating over and over again how much I love you and how good life is and how fun this is, and wasn't that good, and did you hear what she said, and did you see the look on her face when she said it, and did you see the look in his eyes when he heard it, and did you see how we all laughed when we did it, and do you remember what it was like when we were floating on that river, and do you remember the river guide and how clever he was, and brought us right up to the edge, and I climbed right out on the boat, and the sloth was hanging right down in a branch, and I looked at him and he looked at me, and he moved his head and he moved his arms so slowly as if to say, I love you too. Jerry and Esther have had that conversation 15 or 20 times since they had their up close and personal relationship with the sloth on the Amazon River in Costa Rica. In other words, they just keep milking it. Eric was the man who was driving the boat. He would say, can you see that crocodile? What crocodile? He would put his laser beam on it and he would shine a light right on the eye of the crocodile, and then the crocodile would look at them and they would look at it, and it would look at them and they would look at it. Just milking, magnificent moments. You see what we're getting at? Do all of your offering of consistency and of focusing once you're sure you're in the vortex, and watch the power and the leverage of the energy that creates worlds help you manifest anything that you want. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come to an environment like this where you are willing to sit and listen to us with the express purpose of moving your vibration upward. We've had a wonderful day of unfolding into new places. There have been several things that we've never approached before, never even come close to before, that we not only came to, but the majority of us collaborated and understand it fully. We are eager about what's before you, not because what was before you played with us here was not pleasing, but because what's before you now that you've played here is going to be obvious to you that it has been enhanced by what we have done here today. In other words, as things unfold over the next few days, you will know without question that it is as a result of your willingness to experience this vibrational shift. It is co-creating at its best. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain eternally in the vortex.